Hello everyone, welcome back to today's Frag Pro Shooter video. My name is Flag, and today we're gonna rank all 20 legendary cards in the game with the help of not one, not two, but 12 pros at top 100 of the ladder, including the number one player right now, GodRippin. In order to overcome my own preference and bias, I asked many pros from different countries and different clubs for the professional ranking of the 20 obtainable legendary cards in the game. For the final ranking, I assigned points to each rank. The higher or better ranking that a legendary gets from my pros, the more points it obtains. Of all the pros, 12 replied back with their ranking lists, and I calculated the total score the legendaries got and finalized the ranking in this video. Keep in mind that literally all legendary cards are at least decent cards, and you can surely make a deck around the maybe one or two legendaries that you've unlocked. As already mentioned and shown on the thumbnail, among our pros is the ladder's current top player, GodRippin, sitting at number 1 as you see here. Last time I checked, he had 95,036 trophies. The matches you're seeing right now is from 2 nights ago when I started recording a few matches on ladder, and I went against GodRippin in my first match, followed by a second a few matches later. I want to thank the pros who kindly submitted their rankings and comments on the legendaries, starting by GodRippin, Posto Di Blocco, Danonito, Baya, KrishGamer33, who's also a YouTuber, and lastly, Redeem from DKO Digital Knockout, the number one German club, which I'm happily a member of now. I also got some contributions from more pros from India, Costa Rica, Italy, and the US, as you can see here. Throughout the video, I will use the following symbols to indicate different parameters. This flag icon with my channel's logo inside shows my ranking for that particular legendary card. This gold symbol with number 1 written inside shows what ranking that legendary gets from ladder's current number 1 player, GodRippin. This red arrow shows the lowest ranking that legendary got from our pros. And the green arrow here pointing upwards shows the highest ranking that card received among our 12 pros. Lastly, this huge number seen here shows the final average rank that legendary received from all 12 rankings. Throughout this video, I may refer to a card's special ability either as ability or super, so don't get confused. One last thing, I need to mention really quickly that I've been working on this video for around a week now, and among the people I asked for their opinion on rankings is a YouTuber who also makes frag videos. And instead of answering me back, they ended up making their own ranking video a day after I asked them about this topic. But anyway, huge shout out to them, and let's get into our pros ranking of Frag Pro Shooter's 20 legendary cards in the year 2020, counting down from 20 to 1. Sitting at the bottom of our list at number 20 is Mr. Tiger. In fact, the majority of the pros consider him to be the worst legendary in the game right now, and he didn't even get close to making it to number 19. I voted him as my number 18 fragger, and here's why. Mr. Tiger's regular attack is quite decent, and if you manage to get headshots with him, he deals double the damage, which can come clutch at moments. What lacks on him is the difficulty of controlling his ability and his slow movement while running or shooting. In fact, 5 of the bottom 6 legendaries on this list suffer from slow movement speed. In order to make him a better card, his super could use a slight buff, maybe have his air support drop sooner or increase the number of the bombs he drops. His speed while shooting, which is only 5.8 km per hour right now, could also become faster. Coming in at number 19 is the Icelandic fragger Nautica. Only one pro ranked her at number 20, while most of the others, including me, agreed that she's the second worst card in the game. Her normal attack deals decent damage and doubles if you get headshots, but it's extremely difficult to get her shots to land onto moving targets. Her super isn't any better. It's quite hard to have it pinpoint the enemy troops, and its push strength is only 8, same as Rippin Finn's squirt gun's push strength. Additionally, her ability cooldown is 14 seconds. All of this makes her learning curve quite steep. That's why she is far from being used competitively. What could be done to make her a good card is increasing her reload speed from 1.8 seconds to 1.6 seconds, and possibly increasing her shot's projectile speed so they connect to the targets faster. Gigagoo the Green Monster took number 18 on the list. A couple of pros said he's the worst legendary card in the game, which I agree with, while others regard him higher, even as good as ranking him number 13. Since the bullets he fires are heavy, shooting with him takes some time to master, and he has a decent ability. To quote my pro Posto Di Blocco, he's a great defender dealing consistent damage, and when he uses his ability, it's hard to get away from him. That being said, just like Mr. Tiger and Nautica, Gigagu's speed while shooting is only 5.8 kilometers per hour. If the balanced team increased his regular attack's slow effect on enemy troops from 0.9 to 0.8 or made it so that his shots would not lose elevation so fast and drop, he would be an A-class defender. The Soviet space dog Laika ranks number 17 among the legendaries. While the majority of my pros agreed that Laika deserves to be ranked at around number 17, the others believe that her recent buff has made her a more viable card, ranking her even as high as number 5. Regardless of all of this, she got way more points than the bottom 3 cards of the list. Overall, she's a decent card in the center with massive HP, good damage, and a super that can be used very intelligently. If you know how to aim correctly with her rocket launcher, you can dominate the center. All of this said, she's still not the first option when thinking about center and wild cards. What could help her is increasing her ammo from 3 to 4 or buffing her reload time from 1.05 seconds to under a second. Burning up at 16th place on our ranking is Volcano. Almost all pros gave Volcano a teen ranking, that is 13, 14, 15 and so on. I don't really consider him better than Laika. He's basically the attacking version of Gigaku. When it comes to attack cards, however, there are many cards that come to mind before Volcano. That being said, he does have his moments with his regular attack when it comes to nearby enemy troops. However, his super takes too long to release or shoot, and Volcano becomes super slow when he's shooting, with 2.9 kilometers per hour, the slowest in the game, making him a sitting duck for the opponent. In order to fix this, the dev team could increase his speed while shooting and allow his super to shoot much faster so it can do the damage it's supposed to on time. The big Japanese assassin Shinobi was able to escape the bottom quarter of the table, ranking at 15. In fact, the majority of pros ranked him exactly as their number 15, and that's also where I rank him as well. Same as Volcano, he has the lowest movement speed while shooting in game, 2.9 km per hour. So you never want to use him as your sole card for defense. His massive HP combined with his 5-second ability cooldown, however, make him a very deadly and annoying assassin in Frag. He doesn't really need a balance, but if ever changed, maybe his bullets could have a bigger radius, and to compensate, his ability cooldown could increase to 7 seconds. The Sweetheart legendary card, Miss Bunny, could not get a better place than number 14. I personally put her at number 10 on my list, but the pros who know the game better thought much less of her and ranked her at 14. In fact, the majority of votes were on 16, but thanks to a couple of better ranks, she settled for 14. She recently got 3 buffs to her bullets and 2 more to her super. Right now, her normal attack is quite viable, but it's not so reliable as it sometimes misses the targets. She might require a very small buff to her HP, or maybe her bullet speed, which was buffed from 40 to 42 in the last patch, could yet increase to 46, so her shots don't miss as often. Another option would be increasing the range and the altitude that her super reaches, which would allow her to escape tight situations more easily. The last 10 number ranking goes to another legendary that got many buffs in the latest balance change, the Devilish Inferno. Inferno is among the legendaries that really splits the votes of the pros, with his highest rank being 7 and the lowest 18. But the average score he got from the pros keeps him far away from both rank 14 and 12. He was once very overpowered and dominating, but got nerfed badly. In the last balance, his range increased from 55 to 75 meters along with some other changes and became once again a very good camp unit. The extra unit that he summons or clones by using his ability can help tighten the defense built around your bunkers. I don't think Inferno needs any change because his HP and damage are already very high and buffing him would make him OP again. The Neo Viking of the Frag universe, Rolaf, got the 12th place in the pros ranking. The majority of pros ranked him at above the teen numbers, which translated to a place at number 12. It's not easy to use his weapon, but Rolaf deals solid damage with his weapon, Neo Mjolnir. His super has its moments dealing massive damage and pushing troops away. On the other side, his mobility is not so great and leaves little space for a narrow escape for Rolaf. Overall, he seems like a balanced card, but a buff to his range or bullet speed could increase his use rate in top ladder. The last rank in the lower half of the list goes to the Togolese hacker Baron Voodoo. This charismatic defense card could make it to the top 20, but by only 2 points lost to the next card on the list. I personally believe that the control that he provides in the back and also on offense makes him a better card than the next two cards. He benefits from a good deal of speed and HP, and the fact that he heals himself when he shoots opponents is just crazy. His special ability is really unique and well thought of. If you're maining him in your games and can manage to make a push with him as support to your attack cards, he will work wonders with his ability. For his balance, maybe if instead of 4% he could heal himself 6% per shot, he would be played more by the pros as well. Cracking into the top 10 legendary cards in 2020 is Mikaladin, making him the second best camp or defense legendary in the game. The majority of the pros wanted him ranked at 12, but the remaining pros gave him a better ranking, so he finished at 10th. Mikaladin is yet another card that got two good buffs in the last balance. Mecha has a good range of 100 meters, his shots have a strong push effect on the opponent, and getting headshots with him multiplies the damage by 1.7. All of this plus his inescapable ability, which is great at crowd control, have made him the best camp card on this list, and a super solid choice in general. I personally like how the snipers and campers are not too strong in the game, because I think everyone agrees that nobody enjoys playing against an opponent who does nothing but sit at the top of their bunkers and shoot you through their scope. Therefore, I believe Mecha should remain the way he is. The first single-digit rank on our list goes to the celebrity werewolf, Wolfson. Our pros gave him different rankings, but overall he was able to get way more points than Mikaladin and received way less points than the card sitting at 8th place. I personally have not figured out how to be really good with him and didn't give him a better ranking than number 11. The mechanics behind his regular attack is really awesome. I love how he can track the targets that he shoots for a short period and how his damage depends on the target card's HP. His super is kind of a touch and go though, meaning it is only good in certain scenarios. He could probably use a tiny buff to his minimum damage per second, but before that a nerf to other popular wild cards like Blood, Fragment and Run-In would be the way to make Wolfson more appealing. Making our list at number 8 is the metallic yet sieved Striker, who is one of the favorite and fun legendaries among the Frag community, including me. The once top 5 legendary card does not appeal enough to the pros to make it to that list anymore. The majority of votes were between 5 and 10. Still, Striker's attack can deal a lot of damage if you can keep him locked onto the target. If done well, his special ability, Home Run, can be really useful, knocking the opposing troops out of the arena. In order to make Striker competitively more viable, I would probably increase his HP, or better yet, his movement speed, so once again he becomes the sole fastest card in the game. If you don't notice already, the newest card added to the game, Run-In, just became the other card who has the fastest movement speed along with Striker. By the way, I asked a couple of my pros about Run-In and all of them said that Run-In needs a nerf. The good news is that the CEO of OBB, the company that has made Frag, confirmed in Frag's Discord server that Run-In will get a slight nerf soon. Coming in at number 7 is the legendary AI turned virus, Hades 5.1. It's notable how pros were very split as to where to rank Hades between 5 and 10, but overall she secured her place above Striker and needed a couple of better votes to get to number 6. Hades profits from big strong shots and the knockback effect of her regular attack makes a really good feature on her. Her ability is unique and quite powerful too. In my opinion, Hades is balanced and unique enough not to need any changes right now. She is not overwhelmingly strong at mid ladder and she is also used competitively as well. Getting close to the top 5 here at number 6 is the ever so popular Ollie. The naturally blonde fragger had mixed votes coming in. A couple of pros even included her in the top 3. At the end, she lost to arguably 5 better cards on the list. After Striker and Run-In, Ollie, along with some other cards such as Miss Bunny, Cactarina, Jab and Vandal, is the 3rd fastest fragger in the game. Her guns deal massive damage and you can use her super to bypass the bridges and fly over the air to rush to the enemy half of the battlefield. In high level gameplay, you can do all sorts of tricks with her. You can single-handedly deal hundreds of damage to the enemy bunkers while your opponent is chasing you from one bunker to another trying to catch you. She's a really good punish attacker, which allows you to punish your opponent by dealing heavy damage to the bunkers when they overcome it and attack and don't have any troops for defense left. She doesn't really need any balancing, but if the players start complaining about her, the number of bullets in her magazine could be reduced from 20 to 18, or her reload time could increase from 1.1 seconds to 1.2 seconds. Breaking into the top 5 is the Australian surfer Rippin Finn. Rippin Finn is another legendary which split the pros. A group of the pros wanted him in the top 3 while the others still consider him an above mediocre card. I have been using him since a long time ago since he's the second legendary that I unlocked and I really enjoyed playing him, especially after the recent buffs to his ability, regular attack and range, and therefore he makes it into my top 3 legendaries. With his 5 buffs, he is certainly a very robust card in the center of the battlefield and offers huge control over the tempo of the game. His ability has exceptionally improved after the buffs and makes him possibly the best option in the game for crowd control. The crazy thing is that it only takes his ability 12 seconds to reset, which means you can potentially use his ability up to 14 times in the normal period of the match. He might deserve a tiny nerf, and the dev team could possibly increase his ability cooldown from 12 seconds to 15 seconds, or bring back the difference in damage which he deals at short and long range. Barely beating Rippin Finn by only 1 point is the boombox lover Queen Boom. The recent nerfs have only changed the opinion of a smaller portion of the pros, as she was among the top 5 legendaries in the majority of the pros list. I have only played her a couple of times after the nerf, but I believe while the nerf was not anything massive, she still loses her place in my top 5 legendary list. One of the best things about Queen Bee though is her ability which dramatically boosts the friendly cards around her. Even in a vacuum, she is still strong. Her regular attacks knockback can be really clutch at some points. You can use that effect to knock melee troops like Lucha Muerta and running back, or push enemy troops down to the water. She deals a huge deal of damage with each attack and her HP is also quite high. All of this makes her hands down the best center card in the game along with Rippin Finn, and I don't want her stats to change at all. Rising his way into the top 3 is the newest legendary added to the game, Dr. Crow. The majority of the pros ranked him as their number 4 on their list, but thanks to a couple of votes for number 3, Dr. Crow easily surpassed Queen Boom but still fell way too short of cracking into the top 2. In my opinion, Dr. Crow ranks at 4 below Rippin Finn because Finn's recent buffs make him a better candidate to have in a center. In hands of a master Dr. Crow player, he makes impossible matchups possible. The current number 1 player in the game, GodRippin, said he's really good but few use him like they should. In my opinion, he's the second best wildcard in the game after Ronin and above Blood. I'm really happy with how he is right now and would not recommend any changes to him. You guys probably knew from the start of this video which 2 cards would be a top 2. This made a very close race for the top spot legendary card among our pros. Losing to a single point, the boss comes second on our list. Almost exactly half of the pros ranked the boss at number 1 while the others ranked him at number 2. Only 1 pro voted him to be at number 5, but they had also not given a full list, so their vote didn't cast. At the end, the pros gave the boss 389 points, and he just fell short of the 390 points that the number 1 legendary card received. For me, however, the boss is the best legendary card in the game. His regular attack is very powerful, his HP is reasonably good, and a timely use of his super can shred through any forms and shapes of attack, including Lucha Muertas and Bloods. In words of my pro, Baya, and I quote, "Simply put, the best defense in the game, but could be used for offensive purposes, storming a bunker with his decent running speed," unquote. Therefore guys, he offers nothing short than the number 1 card of the list. He is another card that could use a small haircut nerf to his stats. Maybe when he dies in the middle of using his super, the robots that he summons die as well. Or maybe they could reduce the damage or the range of his super. You have probably guessed it by now, the number 1 fragger on my pros ranking of the 20 legendary cards in 2020 is... That's right guys, Crystal. As I said, the pros gave Crystal a total of 390 points, making her the queen of the legendaries. Not so surprisingly, every pro listed her as their number 1 or number 2 legendary. I was very doubtful whether I wanted to rank her my number 1 or number 2. I even caved in at some point and ranked her number 1, but at the end I decided to go with number 2. But that doesn't matter at all, I love her, I've had her in my deck since Christmas when I first unlocked her, and I'm happy how this ranking worked out for her. Crystal is very satisfying and fun when you first unlock her and play her even afterwards. Her attack is consistently good and her super is undeniably fun and powerful. From a competitive point of view, Crystal can be the key to outplaying the opponent. She can almost do the same thing as Ollie by flying from one bunker to the other, but the difference being that she can take her time mid-air to shoot enemy troops a couple of times before landing on them, stunning them, and finishing them off in the process. One timely and opportune super executed well can decide the fate of the match. She offers huge control over the map, allowing you to go from defense to counterattack with her super. She can be very solid on defense too, as she packs a great amount of HP and moves quite fast. We can see many examples of this executed in my previous ladder video. In terms of balance, I think Crystal is and should remain a very good and reliable card, and if there is ever a need to nerf her, I would suggest just to limit her movement when she's in air during her super, so it can be easier to hit her and maybe slow down her hit speed during her super as well. That's it for the Pros Legendaries ranking, guys. Just a few closing remarks before I finish the video. I've been receiving a lot of positive feedback from the part of the community that I've met in the past couple of days and weeks. I appreciate the support and interest, and I'm looking forward to making more top class content. Once again, I want to thank my pros for helping me with their professional rankings. I appreciate each and every one of them, and huge shout out to them and their clubs. Lastly, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like the video, and let me know in the comment section if you have any requests or questions. Check out Frag's latest video on their official YouTube channel for the free 20 diamonds gift code in the beginning of their video. Stay safe everyone, until the next video.